Big Herc is I did his channel. He stands up and walks around the room.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, I got this fucking rat in my house.
furious. Hey, this is Matt Cox, and we're going to be doing an interview with John Alite and Mike Dowd, and I've actually interviewed Mike Dowd before, and so check this out.
So how'd you get on the commercial?
Oh,
how does that work for you?
my booking agent actually saw Home Title Lock, and he said to me, he said, hey, this Home Title Lock, like they protect people, they monitor people against doing what you did. You want me to contact them and see if they want you to be like a spokesperson? I was like, fuck yeah, of course I do. I said, I mean, if you want to. I'm like, I don't even know how to get in touch with them. And he's like, yeah, I'll look into it. And like 2 hours later, he goes, okay, there's a girl named Jennifer. She's gonna be sending you an email. Like he just had it all linked up. She's within the next day, she's gonna hit you up. I gave her your stuff. She'll contact you. 20 minutes later, boom, email from Jennifer. And I'm like, she's like, hey, can we set up a call? The next day, we set up a call. A month later, they're flying me out to Oklahoma to be in a commercial.
Hey, Matt, can you give the people that don't know what your charges were and what you did and give them a little override?
Well, I met him from the TV too, you know. I did.
He cut me off again.
I know.
Well,
It's a con.
What do you want to do?
So-
You want to talk about why he's here?
You know why, Matt? Because he thinks he's slick because he's wearing this nice jacket today.
I'm in pink today. You know,
He looks
last
good.
time we did a show, he wore something pink, and everybody made a
Still
comment.
wearing pink.
You are wearing
pink
pink.
shirt.
Yeah, but anyway. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I
No,
interrupted.
go ahead. No, you go.
No.
There's
Because
some people you can make
I
the
did a
pink
show
comment
with-
to, and some people you can't.
I did a show. I did a show with Matt. But in fact, your number one show, Matt. I mean, I hate to say it. But
Yeah.
Your
No,
number
it
one,
got like 120,000 views or something.
and it was your first one.
Well, I
wasn't
think it's going to be number
Yeah.
two now.
you think this was going to be better?
Well, because I'm here.
That's true. So John, you wanted to know what his situation was?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a mortgage broker in Tampa, and I basically was committing fraud periodically.
Oh, so you actually had a job?
Oh, it was a real job.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know? You didn't? Are you serious?
I'm serious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was a mortgage broker. I went and I was dating this chick, and she was a stripper, and so of course,
Perfect.
as soon as she graduated school, she actually did put herself through college stripping.
Okay.
So she graduated with a degree in finance. She met a guy who owned a mortgage, a lender, at the strip club, and he offered her a job because obviously if you own a legitimate company and you're in a strip club, you're thinking, how can I hire these strippers? They would make great salespeople. So he hires her. Very soon afterwards, he started banging her, but I'm sure it was,
Before you or after you?
No. While we were living together.
But
So-
not in a relationship.
No, he was married.
You and her.
No, I was living with her.
Oh.
He starts banging my girlfriend. But I don't
John,
know this.
could you imagine? Guy,
I don't know this.
Guy's banging his girlfriend. What would you do?
Ask him if I can join in.
He says,
Knock on the door.
Hey, let me in there.
so she says to me initially, and I should have known something was wrong, by the way. You know why? Because she said to me, when she first met the guy, she's like, oh my God, he owns this lender. Owns a lending company. He's got a bunch of branches, this and that. He flips houses. He said he'd help us flip houses. And I was working construction at the time. So I go,
Wait, hold on.
This is going to be the whole time?
Yeah.
This is going to be, I thought an hour and a half. When he said it's going to be at least
Listen,
an hour.
guys write me in all the time.
You
They
worked
go,
construction.
wait a second. They always write me in. I says, man, when he does this, don't you want to
You were
shoot
working construction
Don't you want to
first.
shoot him? They ask me. I go, nah, I'm used to him.
Wait. Now we have two jobs. You did construction prior to being a mortgage broker.
No. I'm telling you how I became a mortgage broker.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah.
I
So
got it.
I told you I was dating the chick.
Right.
We're living together.
Right.
She comes home from her job stripping one night, says, I met this guy. He owns a lending institution. He wants to help us flip houses. So she was pushing this agenda because I was working construction. She's saying, hey, we can start flipping houses.
She's banging him.
Not yet. They just met.
But when they start banging, then you fuck him because you get in his mortgage business and then you
No,
start.
he's banging nails.
Not fuck him that way. I mean,
know what you're saying.
yeah.
No, what happens is I should have known something was wrong because she kept saying, you should go. You should be a mortgage broker. You should be a mortgage broker. And then one day she stopped mentioning it. But by this point, I want to be a mortgage broker.
Right.
So I say, I want to be a mortgage broker. I fly up. I go meet him. He says, okay, I'll hire you. He flies me to North Carolina. They train me, Greensboro. I fly down. I start working at the mortgage company. He immediately transfers her to Sarasota. So I'm in Tampa. She's in Sarasota. Yeah. She has to move out. He buys a rehab that's actually a very nice house and moves her in it. I'm naive. Because the thing is, this guy's like, he had freckles. He's a fucking ginger. He got freckles. He's goofy looking. He's got blonde or
but he had the best look of anybody. He had green.
He had money.
Yeah, it was green ginger.
So I'm literally, when people are making comments like he's banging her, and I'm overhearing this at the office, I'm thinking, look at me.
Yeah.
He's not fucking banging her. Look at me. Yeah. Are you out of your fucking mind? He's a douchebag. Yeah. And he's got like 3 fucking kids and a wife. What are you talking about? Delusional. The point is that I start doing really well, and that company folds. It goes under. Oh. And I at that point realize she's fucking him.
Right.
And I say, yeah, all right, this is what's going on. I don't believe you. It's over. We end up breaking up. I end up working for another company for about 3 or 4 months. Then I open my own company. But the problem is, by that point, I'm already committing a little fraud.
Well, that's what I was saying before. I thought it was justifiable for you to fuck him over, thinking he did that to you, but you didn't really get him.
I didn't really get him.
Yeah.
I didn't get him. And look, ultimately, this is funny. His ex-wife knew something was wrong. She started hearing stuff.
Right.
She has a fucking private investigator follow him when he flies to Florida and pictures everything. Then she divorces him. The two of them end up getting married, having a kid. So he divorces his wife. She and I, we break up. Yeah. They get married. They have another kid, and they're still married to this day. So from her point of view, it's a romantic story. From my point of view, she's a whore.
Right.
But both versions are true.
But you're very logical. I mean, you are very logical.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, how many years are they together now?
Oh, God, they've been together. It's got to be 20 years. 15, 20, almost 20 years. 20
you
years
saved yourself a divorce, actually.
Wow, that's actually quite a...
Right?
It's almost romantic in a way. I hate to...
From her point of view,
I see it. Yeah.
And honestly, they had a lot in common. She played softball. He played minor league ball. He was probably perfect for her. So anyway, I start committing a little bit of fraud here, just nothing. Okay, I hate to say this.
Go ahead.
Because there's no little bit of fraud. Right. It's black or white. But I start committing fraud to get people loans. You come in, you made $80,000 last year, but if you made, and you don't quite qualify for the loan for the house you want to buy, but if you made $85,000, you could get the loan.
Right.
So I change your W-2, I alter the document, put it in, nobody catches it, it goes through, you get the loan, I get my commission. So that ends up blowing up. I start doing more and more and more. It got to the point where if you just walked in the door, you're getting a loan. Like you have a pulse, unless you just claim bankruptcy, I'm getting you a loan.
Yeah, right. You figured out how to do it
very and figured out and I kept every
and
time
you'll get your piece.
Well, and every time you get away with a crime, you become emboldened.
Yes, of course.
I'm smarter than them. I'm better than them. I can do this. I can fix it. And then it becomes a challenge.
Right. Well, that was like our lives, though, John.
Yeah,
right. I mean, every time you got away with...
you did it with a pen. I did it with a gun. I mean, but it's still...
Yeah, but wait. Did you have mortgages? Did you have homes?
Yeah.
Did you...
Of course.
How'd you get a loan? You went in with the gun?
No, I went to... Back in those days, it was Greenpoint Savings. Okay. So I had the guys in there.
Yeah. So he had a guy like me.
A couple of days, I'd get $1 million. If I wanted $1.5 million, I'd pay an extra couple of points to them.
Right.
They push everything through for me.
I had like drug dealers, guys who had like no job. Like I don't even know what you do.
Right.
You come in, but you've got decent credit.
Right.
Or maybe no credit, but you've got 20% to put down. Boom. I'm going to make up the fact that you've got a job. I'm going to make up your rental history. Right. I'm going to make up the down payment, the bank account, everything.
You need him right now.
You know what me and him have in common? You know what we got in common, right? I'm a New Yorker, right?
Right.
But my case was based out of the Middle District of Florida, Tampa.
Okay.
So we know what it is. This is a strict district, the strictest in the country, actually.
Yeah.
So this was a bad place to fuck around with fraud. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You should have picked another city.
Yeah. I know guys in other parts of the country where they're like, I can't believe you did any jail time at all. Or other countries, they're like, you would have gotten 3 years. Yeah. And they would have let you do it on home confinement. Right. They consider incarceration.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You do it in your living
room.
Rough.
They don't play games. Hammer you.
So, but what ended up happening was eventually I ended up getting caught. I get a charge. I get a slap on the wrist. Or slap on the hand. I get 3 years probation. But instead of saying, hey, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to start selling used cars. This didn't work out. And so I lost my mortgage company. I actually sold it to somebody else, transferred it into their name. A friend of mine was a CPA, and he's running it, and he's paying me. And then I kept committing fraud. So I open up a development company, and I start making synthetic identities, like fake people. So I figure out how to get Social Security to issue me Social Security numbers to people that don't exist. And I would create a fake profile. I get secured credit cards, make the payments, and after like 6 months, they would have 700 credit scores. So now I've got this person who's got his own social, his own date of birth, his own social, his own driver's license, everything.
You created someone.
A fake person.
Right.
And then I would have that person go and buy a house for $40,000 in Ybor City. You know Ybor City.
Yeah, right.
Like they were shitholes back then, right? They're still shitholes, but now they're expensive.
Now they're $300,000-400,000
for the same shithole.
Yeah.
So I'd buy a house for like $50,000, and I would record the value of the house. I'd record the sale at $200,000.
Right.
So that's a $200,000 sale, and so I did that where one guy's buying 5 houses, one guy's buying 6, one guy's buying 4, all different people. And so the area went from the median price of, let's say, $75,000 up to like $250,000. And then I would refinance the house, pull out $150,000,
Right.
$200,000 out of each house. So each guy gets about $1 million. And then I make a few payments, let them go in foreclosure. Bank would take the house back, and they just think, oh, we lent too much money on the house, and they never thought fraud.
Right.
So I walk away with the money. That went on for a couple of years. I got $11.5 million. And then at some point, the FBI gets involved. I have a buddy that got caught in the bank, and when they grabbed him, he said, look, I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
I can give you a guy who's running a huge fucking scam. This was in Orlando, in Tampa. So he works with a task force. They come to arrest me, but I have a friend who's a sheriff's deputy who comes to me and says, you're going to be arrested in the next couple of days. So I take off on the run. I go off on the run.
Another guy on the run.
Did you go with me like in Brazil and Cuba and Africa? Oh, no.
No, bro, I'm scared.
He ran around the block.
Can't.
Where'd you
run?
I went to Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Atlanta.
Right.
I go to Atlanta.
You saved yourself a lot of headaches because I spent 2.5 years in Brazil penitentiaries.
No, I mean, look, like, here's the thing. Everybody's like, why didn't you leave the United States? Oh, I did. I went to, I went to,
Atlanta.
I went to Italy, I went to Greece, I went to Croatia. Like, I traveled.
Oh, okay.
I went to, I've traveled. I had false passports. So by that point, I'd figured out how to get the DMV to issue me driver's license, how to get the State Department to issue me false passports. I've had over 20, is it not over? I've had about 24.
Oh, you're better than me. I got caught with 6.
Yeah.
6 and another one was kind of like a passport, so 7.
Well, so I actually only got caught with about 6 when they caught me, but I've had that many.
Yeah.
Right.
So I actually didn't even get caught with them. My girlfriend at the time, as soon as I got in trouble, she fucking went straight to the bank, got the safety deposit box, and went straight to the Secret Service and said, "Here's 6 fucking passports. I didn't know anything about them."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
wow.
yeah, they're
I mean,
wonderful.
you didn't even hold out
They're
for a
good.
little bit.
They're good.
Like,
They're good. How about a negotiation?
I hated. You're not even in trouble.
Yeah,
So,
right.
So I took off on the run, sold another like 3.5 to 4 million. Got caught in a bank one time. Talked my way out. Convinced them I hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
They let me go. I was on the run for 3 years, and then they caught me. Eventually, they caught me, and I went to prison. I got 26 years in prison. When I was in prison, and look, and like literally tried not to get to 26. Gave up everybody I fucking knew. Desperate to fucking give up everybody I know.
You're shy about that, though.
You're shy.
Oh yeah, I'm embarrassed. I'm ready to cut everybody's fucking throat. Like at this point, everybody's cut my throat. So by this point, like the first time I got in trouble, I didn't say anything.
Right.
I'm like, I'll take the charge. They even told me, my lawyer told me, I can get your charges dropped. You haven't been indicted yet. So we can do pretrial intervention. Just go into your mortgage company and bring 5 or 6 of your most egregious files from your brokers. Give them to the FBI, work with them. I'll get you so that you won't even have to get indicted. And I was like, not doing that.
Yeah, tough guy.
I'm not doing. I've seen Godfather.
Yeah,
I'm
tough
gonna
guy.
keep my mouth. So, if I'd known then, I would have shown up at the weekly meeting with a dolly and said, help me get the fucking load up. Then I helped the guys load it up in the back of a truck and said, look, I'm just suggesting you guys get a lawyer, do the right thing. Right. And I'd have driven it straight to the FBI.
You should have called Duke Mandel. Do you know who that is?
No.
He was one of my partners, and they caught him in a little scam. Nothing major, with mortgages.
Right.
Then a little bit with weed. And he wired up, and, against me. He couldn't get me on a wire, though. He tried. But, he was giving up everybody and his mother. So, but he owns a couple of places here in Tampa still. He owns Scores. He owns a couple of nightclubs. And he got very rich off of me. And later on, I guess off of everybody else, he didn't hold out at all. He just gave everybody up. So.
Well, listen, I didn't know any better. Yeah. Like, I mean, to me, I thought everybody was going to, be loyal, and there was a code. And
right.
Bullshit,
yeah. That's what well, so, yeah. So, I mean, John, so like you guys did a little fraud. Then you did, my big fraud was my Corvette.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave the keys to some guy, Vinny, and Vinny took the car, and then they actually called me in. The investigator was probably a retired cop, because they're all the investigators are retired cops.
Right.
So you had somebody steal your Corvette.
I had somebody steal my Corvette. I gave him the keys, and I went away for a couple of days, and I came back, and my reported my car stolen. Of course, they had more questions for me than I even thought of. Well, how did they come from your driveway? How did they get there? Where's your second set of keys? You only have one set. Where's the other set? A lot of. I'm like, wait, why are you questioning me? Yeah. I'm the police. You're questioning me? I said, just give me my money. It's like $27,000 I'm supposed to get in a check, And boy, oh boy, I tell you, of course, Kenny gave that up. Kenny's the guy from the 7-5 documentary. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah.
You're familiar
I saw it.
Yeah. So the 7-5 documentary, Kenny was the one who gave them. Listen, he gave. So when I was so
turn to put the glasses on.
The connection. Yeah. The connection to this whole situation is.
My eyes kill
and listen, you got 3 guys in a room here. Yeah. How many years did you do?
About 18.
All right. And you did?
13.
And I got a 14-year sentence. I did 12 and a half. So we got a lot of.
Oh, you're talking about time you actually did. Okay. 12 and a half. That's a lot of time you did.
Yeah. I'm talking about prison. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you meant, vacationing.
No, but between the 3 of us, there's a lot of
40 fucking.
There's a lot of time.
That's 43 years.
There's a lot of time spent behind the the pen here, But the what got us there, obviously, was what we did, the things that we did. But with Kenny, when I was out on bail, I mean, I don't know if you know, like, did anybody ever put a wire on against you?
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah,
and you?
Yeah, plenty of guys.
Oh, so I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Kenny put the wire on, and he went down the list. He must have had they must have gave him a predetermined list on who they wanted to know about. He went down the list. What about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? So by the time I get pinched, they know what my mother has. They know what my mother did for fucking the last 30 fucking years. So
well, I'm going to tell you something. The old Days Inn on the Causeway?
Yeah.
I forget, they renamed the hotel there. So we used to stay there on a regular basis.
Am I okay with the glasses?
Yeah, very good. Actually, matches the pink and the black and white. So we were there, a couple of guys. We get a suite, double room.
We're in Tampa?
In Tampa, right on the Causeway. And this is one occasion. And we go out the front door, but we also have a back door that goes to the pool. Because I always wanted both. I used to come down with 5-6 guys to get the suites. So we go out. We leave the room. And I told the guy before we left, make sure you lock that door. Make sure you check it and you lock it. So he did. We left and I forgot something. I said, hey, you know what? Make a U-turn. I got to go back.
Oh, the U-turn.
We go back.
The U-turn.
And the key won't work for the door. So I go, try it again. He goes, it won't work. I said, we went out the front door. So that bar can't be on the door. You got that bar. Yeah. So when you put the key in, if the bar's there, it won't work. So I tell one of the guys after a while, I says, go to the desk and bring the guy. So the manager comes over, he knows me. And I says, hey, the door won't open. And you can see his face. And I says, my other friend, Frankie, go around the back and see if we can get in the back door. And the back door's wide open. So they were trying to wire up my room.
I was going to say.
And we came back and they ran out the back. So that was just one occasion. I mean, I had so many different, they had so many different investigations on me and trying to set me up with, wiring up apartments, wiring up guys like Duke, wiring up, Duke flew into Philadelphia actually try to wear a wire on me in the airport, but I knew what he was doing. So, and Tampa's very proactive. When they're after you, they don't lay back. So,
they're proactive. Yeah.
Then I had another agent that came and tried to set us up on a sting, and we met with him, and we foiled his thing. We knew he was an agent. So
I literally, when this chick and her husband wore a wire on me, I knew in the middle of the conversation, I realized, oh my God.
But what made you realize it?
So
what was the key? Because there's always something.
So this other mortgage company, I had run a bunch of loans through them.
Right.
They got busted.
Right.
Or they got I just knew they were being investigated.
Yeah, right.
By the FBI.
Right.
And I just refinanced this chick's house to get her like $75,000 to pay her attorney.
Right.
As soon as she gave him the $75,000, he said, "You should turn this guy in. You should wear a wire against this guy." So she goes to the FBI. She and her husband get a wire on, and they call me up and they go, "Listen, can you meet us at the pizzeria down the street?" I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I go to the pizzeria and I walk in. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" I sit down, and it turns out there's an agent, of course, sitting next to. I don't know that.
Yeah.
And this is funny because afterwards I found this. I realized what had happened.
Usually it's after. I know.
Well, I'm sitting there going, I said, "So what's going on?" She goes, "Look, the FBI came in, they seized all of our files, and they're asking questions about my wife at the time. They're asking questions about your wife." And I went, "Well," because those are little bad loans I had done. And I went, "Oh," I said, "Fuck." And she said, "So they're asking a bunch of questions like, holy shit, you didn't tell them the W-2s were fake, did you? You didn't tell them the pay stubs were fake, did you? You didn't tell them."
You fucked up. You fucked up. Yeah.
And halfway through, I sit there and I'm like, holy shit. And I look up and the agent, which I found out later was their agent, has a piece of pizza. And you know how they put the napkin under the pizza?
Yeah.
He had rolled it up and he was eating the pizza and eating the napkin. And I go, "Excuse me, sir. Hey," I go, "Sir," like that. And finally, you could tell he's like trying not to look at me.
Right.
And I realized, and I now realize, like he was like any idiot would go, "Yeah, what's up, man?"
Yeah.
I go, "Yo, sir." And so they're like, "What? What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah. Why are you?
And he looks at me. He goes, like that. I said, "Bro, you're eating your napkin." And he goes, "What?" I go, "You're eating your napkin, bro." And he goes, "Oh God, I'm sorry. Thank you." And I remember Pete, which was the husband. He's like, "Huh." Like, it's fucking mad. and she's like, and they're all relieved. And I thought, that's weird. So that was one thing.
Yeah.
But then I say, "Okay, listen." I said, "Here's what you do. When you talk to the FBI, just tell them that you never actually met my wife. You tell them you never met Kayla. You never," and they go, "Well, we can't lie to the FBI." And I went, What?
Yeah, they slipped.
I go, "What do you mean you can't lie to the FBI?" And I said, "You've been lying the whole fucking time."
Yeah.
They goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Bro, I just refinanced your fucking house using
They
fake."
didn't know that though.
They didn't know that.
Right.
I said,
Right.
using
That's happened to me.
fake, I go, fake W-2s and pay stubs. I said, "You're fucking lying. You're still committing fucking fraud."
Yeah, right. You
And
are.
Pete stands up and he says, "We've never lied to the FBI. We may not have told them everything, but we've never lied."
Yes.
And I went,
The lie.
and I remember,
That's
I thought,
exactly what happened in my fucking situation,
I
almost
thought-
to a T.
what the fuck? Who's he talking to? Like he, and I thought, oh, fuck. And I looked at Gretchen, because I wasn't really friends with her fucking husband. Like she'd been my manager. We'd worked together before. I looked at her and I went, well, fuck. I said, "I hope you're getting something from me." Like that. And she looked at me and she fucking starts crying, just tears in me.
Yeah.
And she says, she goes, "I don't have to go to jail." And she goes, "Matt, I have a daughter." And I go, "I don't have a son?"
Yeah, right.
I looked at her and I went,
Oh,
I said,
man.
listen. I said, "You know what?" I said, "Tell the FBI to call me on the phone. Do not come by my office." Because when they came to her office, she had like 6 people working for them. They all quit.
Right.
And I knew my fucking 12 guys.
They were gone.
Yeah,
They're all
yeah, gone.
They're already telling me not to talk to her.
Listen,
Right.
when you're in that position, everybody abandons you. Because when my investigation started down here in Tampa, I had a parking company that was a multi-million-dollar company. And I had guys like Duke Mandel that was cooperating. Then I had 717, the Accardi brothers. They were cooperating against me. Then I had Terry Scaglione, who was one of my partners. He was an informant. And, you know, in those days, I was known actually as a mob guy. I was later on in Cigar City magazine. Terry's grandfather was a made guy. So when all these guys are cooperating, the FBI comes in with a sting and they start making up phony cards and going to parking companies of only my lots and all my places, but nobody else's. And I go, this ain't right. And I tell Terry at the time, he's my partner, do not talk to this guy. Don't threaten him. I'll set up a meeting. So I set up a meeting for him to meet us at the Causeway, at the restaurant on the Causeway. Remember the restaurant on the left? I forget what it was called. Right before
Gators?
not Gators. What is that restaurant that was there for years?
There was like the Sandy Pelican, wasn't there?
It was right before those two places that were there that were popular. Whatever the place
Thinking
is.
Scarlett's.
It was a little restaurant when you pull up. It was right on the water. Anyway, we meet there, and he comes with this woman, and I get them drinking. And when he goes to the bathroom, I ask her about 5, 6 questions. And I said, don't talk when he sat down. I asked him 5 or 6 questions, like, what kind of car did you come in? When did you get married? Where'd you meet? Do you have a dog? What's the dog's name? He couldn't answer them.
Right.
And I go, listen, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And he goes, how do you know? I goes, you only gave cards out to my lots trying to fuck with my people only and nobody other companies. So I knew you were trying to do something to me. I says, and your cards are cheap. So if you had all the money you had, you should have spent some more money. He goes, do you need a friend? I don't need any friends. I said, I got enough friends. I said, see you later. Have a good day. But I knew what you were doing because he was trying to get me to clean money for him. He said he had an organization. He said he owned nightclubs offshore, and he was trying to maneuver me in a fraud for drug running and whatever else.
Money laundering.
Money laundering for my parking company with cash. But I had all these guys, and they're all involved. They're all trying to set me up at the same time besides the agent. So, later on, I lose my company. But this was a regular thing. When you're on the street like this, they're going to come at you every which way. You're not going to last long. For people to think that, and that's always my message in all my shows, is do the right thing with your life because it's short-lived if you think you're going to get away with taking all that money. Because 99.9% of people are going to get caught. And guys are going to give you up because their life's going to come before yours and their families. And if you think any different, it's naive. And you learn the hard way.
So what happened with me was I was out on bail. Now, we're going to get to the Newt story, but this is the Newt Gingrich thing. But I was out on bail, and Kenny, I don't know, we're partners, right? You want that one guy, So I'm like trying to make a decision. Do I run? Do I not? I go to Astoria Manor. I meet the owner of Astoria Manor, who I'm good friends with him. So I became a friend of him through Joey. And Joey, my friend, Bag of Donuts, was good with them. So I became friends with him. And he says to me, this is the shrimp boat in Nicaragua gig. I'm going to be a shrimp boat captain in Nicaragua. So I mentioned it to Kenny. Nah, I'm not interested. I got my pension. I'm going to try to just maybe.
Wasn't Adam Sandler selling shrimps or something? What's this? One of those comedies.
You're thinking.
The guy, the idiot that stands at the bus stop.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
So they're going to make me Forrest Gump, and I don't care. I don't want to go to prison for life. Who wants to?
There's a resemblance.
So I'm running. Your turn with the glasses. So I'm running. I go on the. I'm gonna run. I don't have any fucking. You guys are great with passports. I don't have anything, but I'm gonna run anyway. Okay, but I have to get the money. So while I'm out on bail, I don't know. Kenny's already cooperating.
Yeah,
I don't know. So, Kenny, what do you want to do? You want to go? No, I'm good. Maybe I got 5 years and do this or that. He says, I don't want to do any time, but, I'm not giving up my pension. I can't run, and he can't run and keep his 3/4 disability pension that I got him for the rest of his life. He can't keep it. So, I don't know. So, he says, he calls me and says, you want to go fishing? So, what the fuck do you want to go fishing for? Why do I want to go fishing? I got bills to pay. I got 3-4 houses with mortgages on. I got no job. I got shit's going bad. He wants to go fishing because he's got a pension, I figure. He meets me at one of my houses. We sit down. We get in the car. He opens the window. Kenny had hair like you, perfect. He and you, and almost me. So So and he never opened the window in his fucking life because it would blow his hair. So he gets in the car. He adjusts the seat. Now, why did he adjust the seat?
Put the wire.
He put the transponder under the fucking seat of the car. I don't know this. I found out later on. And he's wearing a fucking wire, so that's why he opened the window. He thinks, or they think, they get a better transmission with the wire because the window's open. He gets in the car. He's in the car 15, 20 seconds. He starts telling me about this fishing trip we're going on. I'm yelling at him, what the fuck fishing? I don't want to go fishing. I got no money. You want to go fishing? He goes, no, no, no. You remember we were talking about the shrimp? No, he didn't want to say it. He didn't want to be the one to say the words. It had to come from me. Otherwise, it would have been something that he instigated. I said, oh, you mean the shrimp boat captain in Nicaragua? He goes, yeah. He jumps up and down like your friend there going, no, don't. The FBI, we never lied. So now we're in the car, right? And we're driving, and I go 1 block, and there's somebody sitting there. I go, someone's in that car. Long story short, it was the agent. I was shaking the car, and they cut this out of they cut this out of the documentary. It was in the one of the originals. He's in the car holding on for dear life. So I'm shaking the fucking. It's a burgundy Pathfinder. We're blacked out. You can't see anything. He's in the back, going back and forth, tossing all around in the car. He's saying, "I'm gonna have to roll in the street with this fucking guy. I got no guns." He knows that's what's
right.
He can't shoot me. He knows I got no guns. So so I go, Kenny, the car. We got to check the car. And Kenny's like, well, what's the difference if someone's in there or not? I went, you motherfucker, are you serious? I mean, someone might be following us and you don't want to know? What's the difference if they're following us or not? So we get in the car, we drive around. I see another car. I go, another one. Guy's reading the newspaper. Oh, you're reading the newspaper on a block by my house. Two fat detectives.
Right.
Come on, that's stupid. So now we're driving and I go to him. So he starts going down the list. And I'm like, this isn't right. This isn't right. We're going, this guy, this thing. Remember we did this. Remember we did that. Remember Batter. Remember Adam. Remember the car. Remember the money. Remember the fucking heroin. All this shit. Gordo, Eddie, all these fucking cop, this cop, that cop. He's mentioned all these names. And finally I go to him. What about the cash in your freezer that they missed? Don't talk about my money. Don't talk about my cash. I'm like, oh, we can only talk about my money in my case. He wants to know. He's asking me if I got money in the Cayman Islands. Yeah, I got bank. I got 100,000 cash laying around.
You might have found out about my
money. Yeah, you might have been.
I used to live in the Cayman too when I was on the run. Yeah.
So, but don't talk about my fucking money in my freezer. We can only talk about mine.
Right.
He goes,
right.
So you know what his answer was? It was a good answer. The guy gave some good answer. I will give him credit. He goes, I know about my stuff. I just want to know we're on the same page with your stuff. Yeah. So it was a good answer. Because if they ask me about Mike this and Mike that, I want to be on the same page with you with my answer. So the fucking cocksucker had a good enough answer to get him through that, And so I understand when you start telling me, I didn't lie to the FBI, but he didn't tell the truth. He didn't tell everything.
Yeah.
Just like Kenny. He didn't tell him that there was 15, 20,000 cash in his fridge. And now he was hiding it from them and he didn't want to blow his fucking deal. That's why they get scared. Because they say to you right up, right?
Yeah, don't lie.
Don't lie.
If we catch you lying.
You're done.
I know a bunch of guys that were in prison that they just lied about one, and then they'll take all your information, they'll use your information, and then they're looking for any reason at all to try and fuck you out of.
Correct. Yeah. So that's what he was scared of, and that's what that guy and that girl, they were afraid of because they didn't admit that their home was illegitimately gained, obviously.
Oh, well, they had a ton of.
Well, it's like anything else. They're naive to the system. When they're trying to manipulate a system, and once that ball starts rolling, it ain't going away. We all know that. And, I missed one of the guys before, actually, when my car stuff was going on, Timmy Donovan. He's another guy that wanted to pretend like he was a gangster. He was friends with me since a kid. He ends up testifying against me. He got the agents involved in setting up stings against us. And then he testified in other trials, 4 guys against guys. And, he's been an informant for a while. But he was one of these guys that was maneuvering on the street. And when he gets jammed up, he thinks he can back up and just give everybody up. And then they find out the hard way that, you're going to lie, you're going to be fucked too. But, he went forward and testified against me and some other guys. And he ends up getting out from under it. And he ran out of Tampa. But once this system starts on you and you're doing something, whether you're a gangster, whether you're mortgage fraud, whether you're an ex-cop, or, people that are out on the street don't understand, when they put an investigation on, you're done. You're done. Yeah. When they know that you're the guy and they're going to target you, they have the resources. This is America. Yeah. And you're not beating them.
Yeah. Yeah. I always, I've mentioned this a couple of times, is that guys have, when I did this show Concrete.
Right.
Did you do
Yeah, I did concrete.
Podcast kid here.
Yeah, he's a nice
interesting
kid.
guy.
Danny.
Interesting guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did concrete, and like I got a ton of people that were reaching out to me. You know, they track me through Instagram and Facebook and shit and Messenger and start being like, "Hey, bro, can I talk to you?"
Yeah.
I go, you know, like I'll help you commit your fraud again. Like, can you coach me on how to do it? And I'll walk in the bank and I'll this.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, bro, I'm not going back to fucking prison. And you know, no, bro, I already do credit card fraud, but I'm not at your level. I'm like, I'm not interested, bro. I'm just happy to be able to turn the fucking TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. My own click.
Yeah.
My own
I'm
fucking
good.
channel changer.
I had one guy that was communicating with me, right, from New York.
Right.
Hey, man, I've been in trouble before. I know, like, never asked me anything. Just like, hey, just wanted to reach out and say, if you ever need anything, like, I'm here for you. If you ever come to fucking New York, like, I've watched your shit a bunch of times. I've watched you on a couple podcasts. You're a pretty cool guy. I like you, like how you're honest. Just real cool.
Right.
But he'd heard me talk about how guys keep reaching out to me, asking me to help them commit fraud.
Right.
So he didn't say anything. So he never mentioned it. This went on for 6 months. One day he says, hey, my girlfriend's in Tampa. I'm flying down there to, I've never heard about the girlfriend, but I was like, he's like, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind grabbing some Starbucks coffee. Yeah, I know you like coffee. I said, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So he flies down.
We've all met people in that, that way. On social media, we meet people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
not scared. You scared?
No, there's a Starbucks next to the fucking.
Well, it's good for your business when you're networking and whatever.
Well, yeah, and I've got to go there. It's right next to the
legitimate
art store.
business I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, legit.
It's right next to the art place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So I go and he comes and we have we drink some coffee and I sit down and we're 2 minutes in the conversation and he's like, yeah, I own in Manhattan. He owns a hair salon.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I've owned it for this long. My dad owned it. We have a long lease. We have this. Then my dad died. I that. So he goes on and on.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. He said, yeah, you know, the lease is coming up and this, and I don't want to stay in Manhattan anymore. I'd like to get rid of it. I'd like to come down here. He is, you know, but the problem is, you know, money. And he's like, right now I got this much money. I forget what it was, a few $100,000.
Right.
Where I can do this. And so I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, what, but if I could get like 300,000-400,000 more, I come down with here with $500,000, I could get a place, I could do this, I could do that. I'm like, right. He said, so I want to let you know, I told you I was in jail, right? I didn't give nobody up. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, yeah, you did 3 years in a fucking state prison, or a state fucking medium security prison. Yeah. It wasn't that, okay?
Yeah.
But he's like, I didn't give anybody, and plus the kind of people, he couldn't give up the kind of people, you know what I'm saying? And they were family members and shit. Like, you're not giving up your mom.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay. I'm like, right. He's like, so I want you to know I'm a solid guy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And he goes, like, if you could help me, he's like, I'll go in the fucking bank. I'll do everything that you don't have to be on film. And I'm like, I go, so I let him make his pitch.
Right.
And I look at him, I went, okay. I said, first of all, I said, you don't have the skill set to figure this out. Secondly, because he wanted me to spend a week with me and have me teach him.
Right.
I said, no. I go, so I'd have to be involved. That's cool, bro. Like, I'll split everything with you. Oh. I said, I understand. I said, I appreciate that. I said, so if I was willing to teach you everything that I know, get you up to a point where you could do it yourself, or if I was willing to set the whole thing up and you're a crash test dummy, you walk in the bank, you come out. He goes, right. I said, what the fuck do I need you for?
Yeah.
Right.
I said, why would I split anything with? Why would I get a co-defendant?
Right.
That can turn on me? No, I wouldn't do that, bro. I said, here's the thing. I said, you don't have to. You'll fuck up along the way.
Your life.
You'll tell somebody. You'll get caught. I said, and you don't have to tell anybody. You've already got me indicted.
Right.
Your cell phone has text messages. Yeah. You now flew down here. They have the I said they have satellite images
GPS.
of you making your calls. I said, I'm in here. I said, I'm in your phone.
Global
said,
positioning.
We're
here today.
We
Same
both
time.
been texting.
Yes.
We're done.
Yeah.
I said, I don't ever have to say anything. I said, do you know how hard it is for them to indict me? Mr. Cox and this guy were in the same place at the same time. This guy 2 months later got $1 million and walked away.
Right.
And we caught him 4 months later when he told his girlfriend. I said, so I said, even if you said he had nothing to do with it, I said, they're going to say that to the grand jury. I'm getting indicted.
Doesn't matter. You'll get indicted.
When I go to trial, because I wouldn't testify you at trial. I said, doesn't matter. I can't get on the stand because they're going to say, Mr. Cox, how many times have you been in prison? How many times have you been charged? How many of this? How many of that? I said, I'm done.
Right.
So I said, they'll get 3 guys from the fucking jail to say that I was involved.
Of course.
They'll stand up. The jury's like, he's been indicted. He won't take the fucking stand. He's all this. We can see the communications. We can see the guy fly down. Right. These 3 guys say he did it.
Done.
Mr. Cox,
Put a fork.
he'll probably just get probation. I said, and the judge will give me 30 fucking years,
right.
and I'll never see the light of day again.
Right.
I said, and you don't have to cooperate.
Right.
I said, that's the position I'm in. I said, so I appreciate you coming down, and I'm so sorry that you had to fly down here to hear this. I could have told you on a fucking phone call. And I got up and I got in my car and I left.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm done.
Yeah.
If the DEA came to me right now and said, we've just indicted you on a 10-kilo conspiracy, I've never seen cocaine in my life. You know what I'd say? Can I get a deal? I mean, can I work with
yeah,
that?
right.
I'm done. I know. There's nothing I can do.
Right. There's nothing you can do. You go.
I'm like, I already know you got me. Can I get 3 years?
Yeah.
Can you put me here so that my girlfriend can come visit me while she hangs out?
While she's
you know, I mean,
whilst we hope.
Right. For the 6 months that she stays on the phone until she finally gets tired of me saying put money on my books.
I love you. I love you.
Can you please put money on my books?
God, I feel bad. I always felt bad for those guys on the phone.
Yeah.
Like Saturday morning. Where the fuck were you last
Oh,
night?
I know you're talking about this, right? You know what I joke about everybody on Friday night. Everybody run after we go through count. They run for the phones.
Yes.
And especially back in the old days in McKean and stuff, because you had late night.
Yeah.
So they'd run for the phones, and I would tell like a young guy that was in the joint.
Beginning stages.
I go, wait.
Beginning stages.
Let them run. That line's going to dissipate in a minute.
Nobody's
and
answering.
I go, listen, their families all do the same thing.
Yeah.
I went to sleep. The baby was sleeping. I
Yeah.
turned the ringer off, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they know everybody knows 3/4 or 9/10 of my bullshit.
Right.
So the next morning, they wake up at the crack of dawn, as soon as the
Run
door's
out, break
cracked.
the door.
And they call the house like he said, and they start yelling, where were you? I know you were out. And, you know, and it is what it is. Listen, you can't blame them. They ain't going to stop their lives while everybody's in jail. Yeah. So, you know, they're around for the good times. They go for the ride. And as soon as the ride ends, everybody's skirting out on you or testifying against you. Just the way it works.
I showed up at Mariana. This makes me feel. I show up at Mariana. Now I've been in New York for 2 years, right? I get shipped to Mariana, and I meet this guy. His name is Stanislopoulos, whatever. A nice kid from New York. He's funny because he had a flat ass and he was a hairy Greek guy, so he had hair from here to down to his feet. He could be naked and he looked like he had a cover on. Anyway, so he says. He says they broke him in prison. They said to him, and I'm not going to say that exactly what they said. Just picture right now, she's taking a massive dick right now, and you're sitting here in prison worried about it. Just hold on, it's happening right now. You need to picture that happening right now, because for the next 18 years sentence he got, you know. You got to remember, you're done. You're not home. You're not hitting it. It's getting taken care of without you. He said, this is him. I wanted to kill this guy that he told me that this woman I loved, that I got 18 years and she's going to hang on by me. He said, I wanted to kill him, but the guy was too big, so I couldn't do anything to him. He said, I sat there and thought about it. He says, for about 2-3 weeks. He said, then I realized nothing I can do.
Yeah. You know, I was in Hillsborough, right? I'm sitting in the block. Guy's about 6'6". He comes back, and he took a 3-year plea. Just what you said, 3, and he was facing, I think, 5 or 6. He takes a 3-year plea. Another guy goes, and we told him to take plea. This other guy, he goes and he blows trial. He gets 27 years. So he's crying, right? He comes back, you know. Can't blame the guy, right? He's crying. It's normal.
We're human.
And
gangsters are human.
Oh, yeah. And I
cried like a small child.
See this, yeah. And I seen the other guy, and he starts telling him, oh, man, stop being a punk, man. Take it on the chin. And so the other guy says, I should have cooperated. Now he says it straight out. Everybody's sitting there. So he goes, what'd you say, man? I'm a soldier. He says, don't talk like that. And then he says to him, oh, shit, you're a soldier. You got 3 years. It's easy to be a soldier at 3 years.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm 40 years old. I got 27 years. My life's over now.
Yeah.
So
you're done.
You know, and it's funny is because you said it before. And for the naive kids that are out there, the guy that's going to get 30 years, 27 years, 35 years, and you got this dummy talking about 3 years. Well, who can't do 3 years?
Yeah.
You know, 3 years, of course you're going to be a soldier. Talk that shit when you're facing that 30 because, you know, they all talk that.
Yeah,
and then until that time comes. And then that time comes and they're seeing everybody turning on them. And they're getting 30 and all their friends are giving them up. And, you know, the usual. Everybody's saving themselves and they're giving you up. Then the reality comes in. What do I do now? because the reality is
guys
are going to give you up.
It comes to all of us.
Oh, everybody gave me up. I
Yeah.
just named another guy, Mike Mallon. I can name them all. Just that this is just the Tampa guys that were giving me up. You know, I had dozens of guys coming in, including a guard from a prison that tried to set me up on a telephone that was working with us. So, you know, you got to get everybody and their mother running in to try to save themselves and go against you. That's just the way it is. And the guys that do stand, you said it earlier a little bit and you stopped short. Guys that talk, some of them are never offered to talk.
Right.
There is no deal for them
Right.
because they don't know anything, because of maybe it's a bad crime. They killed a kid or killed a woman or something. So they're not going to offer them anything, or they're not big enough ISIS for them to ask them for anything. So those are the guys that, you know, so when people say the jails are full of guys, but 3/4 or 9/10 of them or 99% of them would talk or are talking. Or,
if they had someone to give up. Right. Yeah.
And guys really don't, that ain't true. Yeah, it is true. If you know anybody in this life, it's true.
Yeah.
And I've said it over and over. You know, you talk about mob because I was involved in a mob. Every mob boss and every crew was ratted.
Everyone.
Everyone. So this,
but so Johnny, another thing, and the guys that haven't ratted were working with the FBI, many of them, for years. Is this true?
Yeah,
I mean, this is what we've come to know.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you've heard about some of the stories. Mob boss so-and-so. Oh, he
The
was
whole
giving information
boss,
to
Joe,
the FBI
listen,
for years.
I used
so he could run his own crew without problem.
Well, you know, this was Whitey Bulger in Boston.
Right.
This was Joe Messina when he got caught. He wore a wire, and his whole crew, captains down, were all talking.
What about Chapo and Mayo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about Chapo. What about him?
Chapo and Meyer were giving information to the DEA in Mexico for like a decade on the other cartels.
The rivals, yeah.
On their rivals.
Yeah, I've gotten that information.
You watch The Godfather? It's a movie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a fantasy. It's a movie. Everybody loves it. But the part they leave out is every outfit is working with law enforcement on the street, giving up the other outfit.
Yep.
They're dropping dimes on them. So Prohibition, if you watch it, this is what went on. So they could catch their load. So what is that? Is that considered a rat? It's not a rat. You know, it just depends on what. So this dumb word, what people use is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's what was the guy? Big Herc.
Yeah.
Big Herc is I did his channel.
Oh, did you?
Bro, are you serious?
Oh, I know when you hammered because what you said, right? You said
in the middle, like this guy I fucking contact. Hey, by the way, such and such. You know, I'm going to be in LA. I don't know if you want me. Absolutely, yeah. I said, do you need to? You want to talk to me or anything? And, no, I know your story. I know that. Okay, cool. He knows my story.
Right.
I get there. He comes in. They sit down. We start talking, and he's like, yeah, this and that. And I should have known when I started telling my story. I said, yeah. I said, so they caught my buddy who was actually my best friend.
Right.
The second time, like the one people wore a wire, and he's like, oh man. I was like, yeah, well, anyway, they did what they did. It's fine. They got kids. That's fine. And he kind of like looked at me. I keep going. Yeah. Then I get to where my buddy got caught in Orlando and told on me. And I said, he is fuck your best fucking friend. And I went, yeah, well, he's got a daughter. I said, you know, he did what he did, whatever. And he's like, and you see it in his face, and I'm starting to realize.
I think I saw this from you.
When you you just we talked about this. Yeah, I remember.
I'm looking at him thinking.
I remember.
I started thinking, I don't think he does know my story. And then when I get to the point where then they give me,
but then you just straight out said,
oh yeah, 26 years. Oh, I knew because by that point I'm ready for the fucking shock value.
Oh yeah.
Then I said, yeah, they give me fucking. I said they catch me, you know. I said, you know, and they give me 26 years and he's like, 26 years. You could see it in his face. And I went, oh, yeah. I said, bro, and trust me. I said, like, my lawyer told me to cooperate. I said, and he goes, like that. I said, oh, no. I fucking tried. I fucking was ready to cut everybody's throat.
Right.
And he's like, I realize, oh, you don't know
my story.
I start, bam. Here's what you don't see. The card filled up. So he had to they cut the card and they cut the thing. He stands up and walks around the room.
Yeah. Like, he's like, I got this fucking rat in my house.
Furious. He's furious. And I realized this guy's huge.
Yeah.
His cameraman, who's also, he told me they'd both been in the fucking, in the pen.
Right.
He's done state time. He's fucking covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him thinking, I'm in a hotel room with these two fucking maniacs in the middle of COVID. The place is empty. Like, this could go bad for me.
Yes, this could go bad.
So instead of, I start arguing back,
Yeah.
but instead of really going in hard, like being a real dick, like, because I've had these conversations where I've just tried to, where the guy ends up just looking like I just make,
you annihilate him. You annihilate him.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like just telling him you're a fucking, you know.
I know.
But I realized I got nobody here. These
You got
guys
no backup
beat
right
the
now.
fucking
No one
piss
can
out
call
of me.
911 for you.
Yeah. So, but I started arguing with him. But what his whole thing was, it was like, so no, you would never cooperate. Like, no. And I'm sitting there. All I can think of is,
I've heard this 1,000 times.
yeah. So you're, yeah, exactly.
I've heard
Not
this
just that.
1,000
So
times.
you realize that your next door neighbor is running a child sex ring. Right. You know, it's good. And I've had this conversation where they're always like, "Oh, I fucking take care of it myself." Really? So because he's a pedophile, you go kill him, right? Right. Yeah. There's a list in every fucking state. How many pedophiles have you killed?
That's right.
None.
Yeah, really. Had you gone around?
No, they all
Right.
talk bullshit.
They talk bullshit. It's all.
I say this all the time about the mob. I said there's guys that cooperate all over the place. Bosses now. I'm not talking about underlings. Why don't you start there? And then maybe somebody will believe your bullshit.
Yeah.
How come nobody's hitting any of these bosses all these years? So, they talk shit, but they don't even own a gun, 3/4 of these guys. That's why I make fun of them. And people say, oh, fuck him. No, the reality of it is the reality. I had good friends of mine that grew up with me. I get it why they cooperated against me. Just what you said. I get it. I'm not going to go before their family. And if anybody thinks any different, they're full of shit. Yeah. Or they're dumb and naive.
How many people did you, and now this is a question I'm asking both to you, because, how many people did you call up anybody, or did you inform anybody? Listen, I'm going down. Get on my back because I'm going down anyway. Did you?
When I was in the pen.
Do you know what I'm talking about, right? Like I called up friends of mine and said, listen, they already got indicted, but they weren't me. They weren't the front page of the Daily News. They were nobody's in the case.
When I took off on the run, before I left, I had dinner and I invited like 8 or 9 people, my brokers. And I told them all, I said, look, I'm going on the run. I'm taking off. I'm like, if you guys get indicted or get talked to by the FBI, like tell on me.
Right.
Everybody tell on me. Tell them you didn't know anything. It was me. Like, just fucking like, oh, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. How many guys
going to do that? I'm like, all right, well,
every one of them could sign an agreement, right?
They were driving. They were waiting in the fucking.
What I was going to say is when I'm in the pen, I'm getting phone call after phone call and message after message. This guy's ratting, that guy's ratting. And I'm looking at the guys.
You had a fucking
smuggle phones. We're in Brazil.
Oh. I'm waiting.
So there's no
prison
phones.
were you in?
There's no nothing.
Okay.
Smuggle phones. And so some of the guys, we did the movie about Klaus and, we discussed this.
What movie?
And we're doing a series called Nordic Narcos about Klaus's life.
Is it
in
out
Brazil,
yet?
and it'll be out next month.
Okay.
Yeah. But so
let them promote a little, right?
Klaus will promote you.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm doing a radio show tomorrow in Denmark. I think 4:00. So about the show and about murder and things like that. But when these guys are all rolling one after another, I look at my friend. I go, "This ain't no surprise." I mean, I've been in the street my whole life. I says, so the thing is, when you start hearing about the bosses all going against you, and when you hear about the bosses' guys and captains. Now you're saying to yourself, you got to laugh and say, they're so full of shit, all this tough talk they all got. And they all got an excuse why they're meeting the FBI, why they're sitting down, why they're only giving a little information, why they do. This is nonsense talk. You know as well as I do. All these guys are talking. All of them are either doing it undercover snitches or they're informants or whatever they're doing. So when people think, when I was sitting there and think that they were going to do anything different, I'd be a fool to believe they're not going to talk. So when you talk to these guys, they know what it is. They know what all these guys are talking. They know exactly what it is. So
So all the stand-up guys the stand-up guys, like you went to the meeting with 8 guys, right?
Yeah.
And said, listen, I got a problem. I'm leaving. Cover your ass. No, I'm a gangster. I'm not going to do it. Yeah. These guys are with the pen, right?
Yeah. Listen, nobody's killing each other in the mortgage fucking
Normally.
mortgage. Yeah.
Normally.
I mean, that's not.
They're not killing anybody in the mob either. This ain't 40 years ago with the myth of the mob. They're all trying to live off of 40 years ago, 30 years ago. Yeah. This doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You had a handful of killings within the mafia in the last 20 years. Handful. Yeah. It's over. With the technology, with the sentences.
You can't get away with anything today.
They're making each other in their underwear.
Otherwise,
the guys are wearing wires during the ceremony.
There's 1 or 2 we might have hit already.
Yeah. Come on. It's done.
What is the name? Oh, God. Joey Marlino, Skinny Joe.
Yeah,
Like,
the Philly guy.
I was
The
locked
Philly
up.
guy.
Yeah, I was locked up with him.
How was he? Is he a nice guy? I mean, I don't know. You don't know either?
I mean, I had lunch at his table 2 or 3 times. He had no, like, in Coleman.
Right.
I like, guys are coming up to me like, Cox, how much time you got? I'm like, I got 26 years. I'm like, but somebody could fuck up and tell me where there's a body, I'll be out of here tomorrow.
Right.
And they go, oh, that's how it is? I go, that's exactly how it is. Like, I'm not here to make friends.
Right.
Like, I was no
Right.
qualms. And then when I actually got my sentence reduced and everybody knew,
Oh, yeah.
it was 10 times as bad. So
All you had to do is, I guess I found out where the body was.
Yeah, an idiot. You idiot.
Yeah, I'm not shy about it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Guys are like, damn, bro. Like,
Yeah, damn, bro.
like they're like, yeah, they're like, shit, man, you ain't. So I guess you ain't the guy to fucking do nothing with. I'm like, bro, you better hope they talk to you before they talk to me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm telling them in the car on the way there.
Yeah,
And
right.
they're like, God damn, Cox.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
And just joking around and walk away. But the point is that Marlino's having lunch with me on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
And Tommy's there.
Right.
And Tommy, when we go to sit, like, Marlino's coming over to bring his tray. He's like, listen, do not fucking say a thing about cooperation. Do not, if like he doesn't have any clue, he has no, and he sits down and eats with me and I fucking say a thing to him because Tommy's so flipped fucking out over it.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, don't say a fucking, if he fucking knew that you did. And Marlino obviously has an issue with it, but he also got what he get? A couple of years?
Yeah. 3 years? Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
2 years, I think. On it.
Yeah. But I mean,
A gambling beef or something?
How long did Tommy get on that? 6 months?
oh God, I think he got like 6 months. And listen, you'd have fucking thought they gave him 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no question.
He fucking,
no
he
question.
bitched and moaned the entire, he fucking hustled and bitched and moaned the whole time. I was like, what are you doing? He was like, I fucking believe they gave me this much time. Can't believe it. I'm like, are you?
You spent more time taking a shit.
I was gonna
You
say,
spent
I-
more time taking a
I
shit.
stood in lines longer than you. What are you talking about? Like, I need to get halfway house. You got to call. Like, he's bribing people. Go talk to the fucking counselor. Go this, go that. It's like, what are you doing, bro? It's 6 months. It's a joke. You're going to get halfway house. Calm down. You'll get a few months. I mean,
Yeah.
fucking,
It's
he complained.
incredible.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, he was one of the guys putting money on your books. He always had food. He's always like, you need anything? He did the whole
So
thing.
he did a lot of bribe work there too.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was actually a very good, good to me when we were in prison. So he was cool.
Yeah, it was
cool.
good to you. Yeah.
But the problem with him is, he's so hyper. He has to be doing something all the time. He can't calm down.
Okay.
He's constantly.
He's a little unstable. Yeah, we
Yeah.
found a little bit of his instability. I don't want to get into that, But anyway, so you guys had lunch with Joey.
Yeah, well, they ate all
Skinny
the
Joey.
time.
What do they call him? Skinny Joey? I mean, is that his
I think he
nickname?
likes.
Yeah. I don't know,
But they had they had lunch all the time. But I'm saying it's comical because I would go and sit at his table. He fucking just, hey, what's how are you doing?
I remember sitting at a table. I was telling you the other day, we're in Mariana. McKeon. And a friend of mine, Scott Hogan, comes, sits down. And Scott is spatial unawareness. He's not aware of spatialness. So he would be like 8 guys be watching TV, and he'd put his back to 8 guys, and they'd be sitting right here. So they couldn't see the TV in front of them. And everybody in prison, they're trying to be polite. They don't want to be, hey, dude, move your fucking ass. So they'd be looking around and like they'd be going,
That's
hey,
polite.
they'd be go, hey, and all of a sudden I see Scott. I come up, I run over and grab Scott. He goes, what? I go, come here, I want to talk to you. He goes, what? I go, can you stand over here? There's 8 guys behind you trying to watch the fucking game, and you're standing in front of them. So he sits down at lunch with us one day, and he sat with me quite often. But there's another guy at the table who's just straight up convict all his life. This guy's a convict all his life. We're inmates. This guy's a convict. He's done state bids. He's done everything in his life.
It's his whole life.
This is his whole life, right? This is his life. This is what he's done. Scott sits down, and he goes, takes up a fucking tissue and blows his nose at the table. The guy gets up and says, you dirty motherfucker. Don't you ever do that in front of me again. I'm like, Scott, I'm trying to grab him. Don't do that. And it was a hanker. It was a hanker like this big.
But I told you the other day, a guy did it at the chow hall, right? I wasn't sitting there. I was at another table. And I didn't know the day before the guy warned him. He passed gas. The next day, or 2 days, or whatever it was, a week, I don't know, because I wasn't at the table. I'm sitting, I missed it. I blinked
where
my
was
eye.
this? What prison was this at?
I was McKean.
McKean? Oh, yeah.
And
The Dream.
Lee was with me.
Lee?
So the guy must have passed gas again. The guy just walked up and fucking hit him a shot and beat him all over the chow, which is a bad place to beat somebody.
Yeah, you don't want to fight in
He's
chow
inciting a riot
Yeah.
charges and all that.
Right.
But guys don't understand prison. It's, you know, a lot of things. There's another time I was in Allenwood, and the guy has, you know, they all put their chairs in front for the TV and whatever. You know the routine.
Somebody sat in his spot.
So no, I came in. I came in, and
Yeah.
there was no chair, and I put my chair there. And the guy taps me on the shoulder, and he says, "You know, I sit here every week." So, you know, you're looking at him now. It's too late now. I'm there.
Yeah.
And I says, "Yeah, well, you know, there was no chair here." "Yeah, but we've been sitting here for..."
Yeah, yeah.
And in a way, because we know jail, he's got a point.
Yes.
You know, but it's too late because I'm sitting
and now I'm here.
So,
Right,
you
next
can't
week
let
beat
him
me.
punk you.
Yeah, right.
So
Exactly.
even though he doesn't think, maybe he's not thinking like that. He's trying to think like,
that we're okay with each
we're
other.
okay.
Yeah. No. You can't.
so now I'm not moving. I go, "Well, I don't know what you do every week, but I'm here."
Yeah.
So
Oh,
now
Jesus.
my friend comes in from the door and he's looking, he sees something's up and he looks at me and the guy walks out. So I know what he's doing. He's going to go put on his boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I walk over to my friend and he goes, "You know, they watch basketball every day in front there." I go, "It's too fucking late now." I
Yeah.
says,
Now,
"You know, I
now
already
it doesn't matter.
I
It don't
already-
matter.
Yeah.
The sausage dinner
it's too
don't
late. I
fucking
already,
matter.
you know, I made the move already
Right.
that I'm here and that I
Right.
didn't, you know, thinking back on it, you know, who knows how do you handle the situation? Because I've been in jails my whole life too. So, you know, now you got to say to yourself, well, it's me. I'm not the other guy. I'm not this average guy sitting here.
Right.
And so he goes and puts his boots on and 6 guys are there. And I think we're going to go. And then one of the guys one of his friends that was friendly with me was like, "Man," he tells his friend, "just go sit there for today." And it back and forth. And I ended up staying, even though I didn't want to stay anymore. Actually, I didn't want to stay.
You didn't want to watch the game.
No, I didn't want to watch the
But
game.
at that point, you're not
But
going.
I couldn't go nowhere. So my other friend says, "Why did you do that?" I says, "Actually, I didn't do it purposely.
Right.
It just happened. And then I just wasn't going to back down after that because it wouldn't look right."
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I didn't give a fuck about the game. I didn't give a fuck about the chair. But I kind of was, when you think back on it, I was wrong because, but I just didn't want to let people think that I'm moving for somebody.
Right.
The same situation. I was in the medium, and this guy sat in the other guy's spot, and he waited until the guy, like, he never said nothing. He walked in, he saw it, like other guys knew, okay,
That
shit,
was his
he's sitting
spot.
in his
Yeah.
spot. He didn't say anything. He waited like 45 minutes. The guy finally got up, picked up his chair, and left. So he comes up, he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "Look, the spot you were sitting in, that's my spot. Like, I don't," he's like, "Yeah, well, you weren't there." He's like, "I understand, but that's my spot. Like, don't sit there again, all right? All right, you know, I don't want any problems. Just don't sit there." Guy goes, "Yeah, all right, man, whatever." Next day,
Yeah.
puts his chair down. Okay, well, I felt, to me, he handled it right. He weren't sitting there.
Yeah.
He didn't know any better. You tell him later.
Right.
Didn't tell him like yours, where he said, no, he's trying to get you to like move.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, no, now you're embarrassing
Right,
me.
of
Now,
course,
like you
of
said,
course,
now I
yeah.
look like a fucking punk and I
Yeah.
can't move. He should have just waited for you to move.
Right.
But then, guess what? Next day, guy sat there again.
Yeah. Well, now he's
Now he
he's-
looked at-
Now he's saying, "Let's go."
Yeah,
That's
and
what he said.
He didn't say anything. He just looked at him. He went upstairs. He got a fucking broom for the mob. Came back that walk. Just whack,
Bang.
just
He
right in
had
the back
to.
of the
He
dude
had to.
fell down.
Well, I've seen guys get hit over the head with
He
chairs all
had
the
to.
time.
He had to.
I mean, we all
He
used
had
to
to
put
do
it,
that.
but we
Yeah,
all used to put our chairs out in a spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but you really think about it, when a guy comes in from jailhouse guy, and you're not going to do that to him either because we've been down a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Saying, "Listen, I don't care what you did. You know, what made you deserve that spot?" And it's not like the chairs are already in place. The chairs are in
Yeah,
place.
if it's frozen,
And we used to
yeah.
put a towel on there or
Yeah.
a blanket, and we put a cup for movie night.
Right.
You know, that's different. But when there's no chair there and you're sitting in the spot, and he goes, "That's my spot."
Yeah, it's just stupid.
It gets
Yeah.
stupid.
It-
But
it is.
These are dumb shit things that happen in
It's-
jail, but
oh,
they're
super-
serious.
I had
Super stupid,
I
yeah.
so I was down 11 and a half years, and I might have told you a story. I don't think I told you the story. So I watch Friends. Like Friends comes on every day, right? So you know, and I listen. I look forward to watching Friends.
course.
Could you imagine? I like Joey and the other assholes on the show. It was fun. Plus Jennifer Aniston's on there, Cox and the other blonde. So it's a fun show. So they do one little thing that I always went like that in the middle, in the introduction to the jingle to the show, right? And I do that, and I do it every time. So some guy, I don't know, Redbone, they call him. He's sitting there with these big Cos headphones on, and he goes, "Hey," I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Can you not clap your fucking hands? It hurts my ears." I go, "Excuse me?" Now he already made a mistake. He wasn't kind. He said, "Oh, you're hurting my ears. Stop me." I go, Now, what do you mean? He goes, yeah. I said, whoa. I said, I've been doing this for fucking 3 years. Now I'm getting ready to go home in 3 months.
Yeah.
He goes, I said, I've been doing this for 3 years. He goes, well, I don't like it. I said, oh, you don't like it? I go, okay, wait till next time. So I said, I'm going to tell you what. I said, how about this? You go fuck yourself and don't ever talk to me again. I said, and I'll do this every day for the rest of the time I'm here. Next day, Mike, he knows, I don't know him.
Right.
Redbone, Mike, come here, I want to talk to you. I said, this guy wants to fucking bring it and straighten it out, whatever. Because that's what we do in prison.
Right.
Says, come on. And I'm stupid. Because I'm straight up.
Well, you said it. We didn't say it.
Because I'm straight up. I'm straight up. You want to
Right.
talk to me? Come on, let's go talk. What's going to happen when we talk is up to us, right? When we work it out. Walk in his cell, closes the door, and a guy 6'8" stands in front of the door on the other side. And he pulls out a knife like this fucking long. I was telling you the story.
Yeah.
I'm never going home. I got nothing to go home to. He's going home in 6 weeks. I got nothing to go home to. He's a guy from D.C. They're actually state inmates.
Yeah.
DC, DC prisoners, people don't know.
From
the
Lawton,
federal,
they
the federal
closed it
system.
down. Yeah.
So he's a state inmate. And Redbone, and I ain't going home. And I went, I looked at him, and I tell this story. It's intense when I really get into it. And I looked at him, and I said, boy, that knife's going to kill this motherfucker. His own knife. He's going to die from his own fucking knife. That's how I fucking dealt with it. Of course, I said, dear God, forgive me, because I'm going to kill him, and I'm going home in 3 months.
Well, number one,
Not if
for
you
the
kill
people
him.
that don't know, for the people that don't know, that are listening to this,
3 months away from going home.
No one is supposed to ever tell somebody when you're going home, because this is what goes on. So if they think you're short, they fuck with you a
start
little
trying
bit.
when
Yeah, they
you're
try you
trying
because
it.
they know that you don't want nothing anymore because you got your hands tied, you're going home. So you shouldn't tell anybody when you're going home.
Yeah, and I don't know that he knew that, but
yeah.
I was well known in prison.
Yeah, but listen, when I did a book, it's like a handbook, prison rules, things to do and don't do. So, and in one of the other things you guys know.
Oh, you did a book?
Yeah.
How many books?
5 books now.
Jeez.
But
You're
this
some
one I did
writer.
with Nick-
You're some
Nick Chris-
fucking writer.
my
He doesn't
last
speak
one
English.
was-
He doesn't speak English well, but he can write.
I'm listening to you.
I know.
Go ahead.
What's my last one? Mafia International.
There you
With
go.
Lou Romano. But we because of all these stupid little things in jail, we had this other thing. When you go to chow for lunch, guys would put their towels or tell the guy, hey, put my towel on the bench.
Yeah.
Put my towel here.
Yeah.
So, the guys are eating, nobody's touching the bench.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid that, they don't want the confrontation, guys.
Yeah.
So one of my friends used to put the towel on the bench. And I used to tell my friends, Lee, these are some of Lee's with me.
Lee Whitney.
He's a Canada guy. He got caught with 37 tons of weed.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Very nice guy.
We're always
My
playing,
back even.
We're always playing jokes. So we kept taking his towel and we were moving it. And somebody would ask us, is anybody on the bench? Nah, use it. Because guys are asking, they're polite.
Right.
They don't want to issue. And my friend's going crazy. Who's touching my fucking towel?
Oh, it's your own friend.
It's our friend. It's my friend. And we're like, I don't know. So you go over to the guy on the bench. He goes, did you touch my towel? Because he's benching on me.
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't touch your towel. So he don't want to give us up because we told him use the bench.
Yeah.
So he does it again. Finally, he comes over there and we put little snacks on the bench. And he says, you fucking bastards. He goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're going to get me in a fight. I said, we ain't going to get in a fight.
Yeah.
But the thing is really crazy that everybody does it. These little games in jail is really ridiculous. Like, who the fuck makes these rules that you put your towel in, you reserve it?
It's yours.
And it's yours, and you're not touching it.
Yeah, they would do that in the showers.
Oh, they do it everything.
That means I'm
Yeah.
taking a
It's been there
shower.
for-
Well,
there's
actually-
a line,
Yeah.
and there's a fucking towel that's been there
Yeah.
for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Actually, in Hillsborough, a guy did do that to me on the 2nd floor, and I was steaming. I had my towel up there, and he just went in.
Right.
And then he told another guy, fuck him, And I'm already got my hands full with trouble. I'm facing all kinds of life sentences. And I'm fucking fuming. I talked to my friend.
How many
Chuck.
life sentences did you face?
Oh, a lot.
20 what?
Yeah. And so I said to my friend,
Matt,
Chuck,
that's up to you on this side.
stand by the door. I just stand by the door. I said, I can't let this go. And I went in, and you remember Hillsborough, they lock the doors automatically locked.
Yeah.
So I went in and I hit the guy, but whatever. And you know what he did? He hit the button, and they came up, and I got locked down and whatever. But these are stupid things. Even I was thinking about, like, afterwards. You imagine? What would I care? that he went in the shower first.
Yeah, now it seems stupid. It's important.
Well, it's
then,
important because
Right.
it's a
It's
thing
just
where
hard to
they think they're
explain.
punking you.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain to people outside on the street, like, what's the big deal that he did that?
Right.
You know, because that's the first thing. And then, you know, and I'm like, and it was a young punky kid. He wasn't a tough guy.
You say the fucking button thing. Like I remember I had a fucking celly one time.
man.
He comes in, we were cellies. Like we ended up being cellies, and he was a fucking Mexican gang member. He's like, listen, Cox. He said, I do this and I do that, but look, sometimes if I have problems with somebody, I'm like, I gotta know. If they come in here, I gotta be able to count on you. And I looked at him, I said, I'm gonna tell you something. If they come in here hard, and he goes, yeah. I said, I'm gonna hit the button on my way out the fucking door. I said, I'm letting you right now. I said, I'm gonna go to the guard.
Yeah.
I said, but you cannot count on me. Do you understand? I will hit the button. I will get the guard. I'm not fucking doing nothing for you, though. I'm not fighting nobody. I got no fucking knife, and I'm not interested in being involved.
Yeah.
And he was like, fucking white boy, motherfucker. I said, I'm just letting you know. You move in here, that's what it is.
That's how it is.
And he was like, well, I guess I better not have any trouble. I said, I mean,
there you go.
Exactly. That's
What a
where we're
smart
at.
man.
That's where we're at.
I had a guy in Honduras with me, Jose Montoya. We were good friends. And he got like 30 years. And he used to play football, soccer. And, a guy moves down 2 cells down from us, from Salvador. Short, fat kid, nice kid, tatted up. And, I'm talking to him. And one of the guys on the cell block was talking in front of his cell in the morning. He just got there. And he says to him, just kind of what you said earlier. He said it in a nice way. He says, listen, please, in the morning. He had a strong accent, the guy. He says, in the morning, can you talk somewhere else? Because he's out front of his door the whole time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he says, yeah, okay, no problem. He does it again. Now the guy's talking to me, and I told Jose, I didn't call him Jose, I called him Montoya. I said to Montoya, this guy's serious. He should think. Now, Montoya's a serious guy. And I said, yeah, 100%. So the guy goes in his cell, I forget his name, and he's packing his stuff. And he says, John, it was nice meeting you, this and that. I knew it,
He's going to the hole.
He gets a razor.
Going to the hole.
And he razored the fuck out of him. And I told Montoya, I told you he's going to do something. I said, you could tell he was going to do something. He was a real guy.
Yeah.
No bullshit, very quiet. He wasn't like a big mouth. And, when he came over and said, hey, it was nice meeting you, brother, and I said, so this guy's going.
Oh, shit.
And he raised the fuck out of him. But,
Because he wouldn't shut up. He was disrespecting. He was trying to sleep or something. Right? He was trying to sleep.
He ain't sleeping. He was right. It's early in the morning. What are you doing?
Yeah.
John, real quick, like I know bits and pieces of your story, but I mean, if you had to summarize it in 10 or 15 minutes, what's the basic
Wait.
rundown of
He
your
doesn't get
story?
10, 15 minutes right here.
You got like an
fucking
hour
way.
and a half.
No fucking way.
Think
we
you
go
got-
on, we do one-on-one on our own. Right now, give him a little synopsis. This guy's crazy.
He did.
10, 15
How long
minutes.
did he do when I interviewed him? He got. Let's check.
No
real quick.
fucking way.
Dowd.
What's the matter?
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah.
Pinky Duscador. Yeah, I just hit it.
You got an hour and 54 minutes is what yours was. An hour and 50. Was it an hour and 54 minutes?
154, yeah. With
I mean, I can leave if you guys want to do a one-on-one. Go ahead, Johnny.
So, Matt, I'll give you a quick overview of my life. So the people that most people think that are listening to my story, my background, that it started with the Gottis. That's not really the truth. It kind of was the middle of my life. The beginning of my life is my father was involved with gangsters. He lived in Lower East Side, Manhattan, Seward Street, Rivington. And his neighbors were guys like Vito Genovese. His friends was Charlie Luciano, Lucky Luciano, his first cousin. Blackie, who was also a made guy, became my father's partner, my uncle's partner in nightclubs and card games and things like that. So I was raised around these guys. Little Al Greco, who's a big name in North Jersey, killer in jail, got life. These were my father's friends. So I was introduced to them as a young kid. Then later on, my baseball coach was Fat Andy Ruggiano's sons, who I still talk to. Anthony Ruggiano, he does shows with me, his brother Albert. And their father was the boss of our neighborhood of the Gambino family. So I was raised around gangsters.
Right.
Them, my little girlfriend at the time's uncle and father were wise guys with the Lucchese family. Those were my other friends. Later on, the Burke family, Frankie Burke from the famous movie Goodfellas was one of my best friends. And later on, he gets killed. And I'm actually one of the guys that come to the house and tell this, not one of, I am the guy that comes to the house to bring the sister to Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn so we can identify the body, that it's her brother, after he got shot in the head 5 times by another mutual friend of ours, Tito, who later on, he gets shot in the head 10 times in retribution for killing Frankie. This is our neighbor.
So this is like a mortgage broker.
Yeah,
Right.
this is
So
like
it's
a mortgage broker.
A lot like the mortgage. It's a lot like being a mortgage broker.
So
right?
when people ask me, where you going with my bike?
I can't see me.
Oh my God. Are you serious? I think they can see you.
It was blocking my fucking beautiful face.
Here's the problem. He's cutting into my 10 minutes.
I was going to say.
No, you go ahead. I'll shut up.
Do I get 10?
How does this pink? This is pink look
I
good?
really like
Come on,
that
really.
thing. We needed to put a hanky in there.
Oh,
You
I
want
gotta get a
my
hanky.
don't match.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No,
It's
go ahead.
fine.
I'm sorry. So
It's
you
fine.
killed.
Anyway.
Listen, mortgage brokers and killers. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So
That's a good
you
title.
know, I grew up in a very violent world, whether I liked it or not, around serious gangsters, top gangsters in the world. Later on, I end up with the Gaudis. So getting there is my preparation. Like people go to grammar school, to junior high school, to high school. I'm raised in this life, and I'm around blood, violence, the gyms, boxing with the Ruggianos, also their father and my father's friends. So when people are surprised to hear that how did it get so close, an Albanian immigrant family, from Albania, did I get so close to the mob and the Gotti family? It's not really because I was around other crews earlier in life that were huge in the mob world. So, you know, when you get into this world, you have to either know somebody or be trusted after a while. But I was raised around this since I'm a kid, like I said. So it brought me right into the violence. I made a lot of money in the drug business, and in the violent world, I became a very aggressive guy. And people, you know, when I try to talk about it because I want to show the downslide and downfall of this life, not the aggressive part.
The $35 million Forbes magazine articles, all that shit.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
No.
Oh, it was at the time.
I mean, listen, you know, as a young guy, and I'm pulling in my driveway and it's 7 blocks long, you know, and you got a boxing ring outside and baseball cages, 3 homes, a lake, built-in pool. Yeah. I don't realize as a young guy, hey, I bought this property at about 23, 24 years old. I bought 16 properties or whatever. I bought 12 properties to be exact, I think. But in conjunction over the years, probably 16 to 20 properties. And you just don't realize the level at you want more. Because it's not about just the money. It's about the power. It's about the style of living you have. It's about the success that you see in your mind coming from nothing, that you want more and more and more. And what I try to do in our show is, we had, at one time it was called Mafia Truth, and then we changed it to the Elite Show, is to show people that your situation or Mike's situation, my situation, you may be up here, but don't worry, you're going to come down that slide. Because there's no way you're staying up here if you're on the street. You're going to hit that. You're going to hit bottom, and that's really what I'm showing.
An application today? What do you put on the application today?
Well, when I first came home, and you know this, people ask me, fill out an application for work, and you know my parole, and everybody's asked me. I go, yeah, I did, and I says, but here's the problem. They write, have you ever been convicted of a misdemeanor? Yes. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Yes. Do you have a driver's license? No. What was your felony charge? Several murders.
Yeah.
I mean, who's hiring you? Do you have trouble with authority? Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not getting a job unless you're going to, and this is one of the things I talk about, second chance programs for inmates, ability once you go to jail to come out and get any job, whatever that job may be. If you can qualify for that job, they should be able to give a job so you have a chance at life again. If you don't give us and other people like us a chance, then you're asking them to go back into that revolving door because you're not giving them that shot. And then, you know, kids from my neighborhood where we grew up on Jamaica Avenue, East New York, South Jamaica, we all grew up a certain way. And I understand that it's a tougher life for us than some other people, but that doesn't mean that you got to go into life of crime. We were just guys trying to take a shortcut. And, you know, the problem is you look at our government, the way it's situated, and I speak about this on a show.
Right.
I don't like listen, look what's going on in Ukraine and Russia now, right? Who knows what's true, because we know we can't trust our media. We know what they've been telling us for 2 years during the pandemic. We know what they're telling us during BLM. Don't believe your lying eyes. that you see
burning
burning buildings
It's
and the police being attacked.
Peaceful riot.
Yeah.
It's
So
a peaceful riot.
it's a peaceful riot.
Demonstration.
This is a joke. So when we see that the manipulation just of that, then I'm not sure that anybody's ever going to believe the media, what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. You got to question everything that's being said now because we've seen so much lying going on to us that this government has allowed this to happen where now we are no different than a third world country of bullshit media. We're no different. We're not getting the real story. We don't know really, and I've seen some UFC fighters actually talk about this. We don't know what went on. We do know one thing. Biden was over in Ukraine before he was elected president, was pocketing all kinds of money. And there was a situation, all of a sudden now we're in the middle of getting ourselves involved in a war. And as bad as I feel for the people and the kids, because you feel terrible for them, it's the governments we don't trust because we don't know what's really going on. And like that, and I'm going to make a correlation, with the mob world, it's the same thing. It's all smoke and mirrors and bullshit. And when you buy into it, you're really a sucker.
The other day, Matt, John and I had a conversation. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Okay. I thought you had a question there.
No.
The other day, John and I were driving in the car, and John says to me, if I put that much energy and effort that I put into this whole lifestyle, into a regular job or business, where would we be today? In other words, so because we're looking at $1 million homes and the things that, like you were in construction, I don't know if you did any flipping, but you did mortgaging and all that stuff. If we just put that kind of energy and effort into we call it easy money, but by the way, there is no easy money. The dope money, all that money, nothing's easy because there's a cost to all of it. The free money you got, there was a cost to all of it. At the time, it seems easy and free, but the cost is listen, we're paying the rest of our lives for it, including yourself. Yeah. We'll pay for it.
I worked very hard at fraud.
Yeah.
So,
it was a lot of work. But if you pull out legit, if you bought a house, flipped it, bought another one, flipped it.
But you were very successful in the fraud business until you went to jail, until you got caught.
Yeah. Right.
But the thing is, the way we helping each other now, doing this, we could have helped each other back then the right way.
Yeah. Right.
And became very successful.
If 3 guys were half.
If you get the right guys, like, I helped guys like, I used Duke Mandel and Timmy Donovan earlier. These guys I helped. I gave them all kinds of money. I started them out in businesses and they fucked me. Yeah. And, this also is the problem. You have guys that are just not nice guys. It doesn't matter what I did for a living. I wasn't a beat artist. These guys are beat artists. I would help them along. You would think they'd be dedicated for me to the rest of their lives. Instead, they're trying to dig in your pocket when you're sleeping. So this is
people get entitled. They start thinking, you give them a couple $100,000, and they start to think that they earned it. It's
Well, they forget.
I'll tell you a good story.
Gave it to you.
Yeah.
Timmy Donovan's father, when he was alive, had an argument with me because I gave his son a couple $100,000 to buy a building. I gave him money for the parking business. And his father's arguing with me. And I said to him, you know what's funny about you? I says, you're a nice guy, but you're full of shit. You wouldn't give your own son $1 because you didn't trust him. But it's okay for him to take my money, go ride around on motorcycles inside my building, sell weed, bookmake, and do anything else to fuck me out of my money without my permission. I said, play around like it was a couple of bucks. But why didn't you give him money? If you had such good faith in your son, you never trusted your own son. So you're talking bullshit. Just be a real guy and say it the way it is. But the problem is guys don't want to be honest with themselves because, being honest with themselves, they got to be truthful about their kid, what they raised.
How many murders did you plead guilty to?
I think I pled to 6 murders, conspiracies 4 and 2, and about 40 shootings.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, I don't know. No, the reason is...
Threw that in there.
Yeah. I don't know why I threw it in there. Everybody's always curious to ask me that question anyway. And
I actually never asked him that question until just now, by the way. That's the first time I ever asked him that question.
And I got to say, though, when people ask me that question, whether it's you or somebody else, I try to show kids this life is bullshit by me saying, don't believe the rest of these guys. They didn't do this. They didn't do the work because you could put anybody on here and you got to sit with them and be very specific. I'm always asking everybody to do. And people always try to dance around it. Well, ask a guy, can you tell me the first time you did this kind of shooting? What were you thinking? What kind of guns you used? Where did it happen? And go to the second shooting, go to the third. I'm going to tell you why. Most of them are going to stop at 1 or maybe 2.
Right.
And I blast Sammy Gravano for that all the time because he tells everybody he's a perfect killer on his shows. he had a lot to say about me, but I've confronted him 100 times. He only shot a gun once. The second one I don't count because the second time was a 15 or 16-year-old boy. So that's his claim to fame, being a tough guy. They're full of shit. And if you weren't full of shit, you'd see there and list it when you're doing your podcast, and you'd say, I did this, I did that, I did this. Instead, he tells you he's good at murder when he really didn't. He didn't do anything. He wasn't shooting anybody. He was known as Sammy the Bullshit Artist, actually, growing up. That was his nickname. So, nobody says that. They talk about, the title they gave him. So, I always say the same thing. I can make a title for you today. You are now the new concierge of podcasting. You're my underboss, and we could be full of shit like everybody else. Because it's just a bullshit, and that's why I try to positive message to kids: don't buy into any of this bullshit.
Get a job.
Do the right.
Get
Listen,
a job.
We just said it the other day. You can go to UPS. Start off driving a truck or loading trucks or whatever. And if you stay with them 10 years, watch how successful you get in stock options and everything. You don't need to do this.
I say FedEx. I use
FedEx.
I use the exact same thing all the time when I say FedEx.
Yeah. My family member, I won't say who he is, was on the street with me, in trouble, faced murder charges, beat him, and he turned his life around. And he works for a major corporation, right? From nowhere. And he makes almost $500,000 a year. So it could be done.
Yeah.
If that's really, the mindset is, I didn't know any better, I guess. I was raised in this life since I'm a kid. I had some chances, and
you had a baseball scholarship.
Well, then I had an arm injury, so I had some chances. And when they fell, University of Tampa, when they fell out, I used as an excuse to continue in the street. I didn't have to go on the street. I could have did something else, right? I could have got a job somewhere else. I didn't do that. So what I try to tell kids is be true to yourself, right? Well, not just kids, men, anybody, woman. Be true to yourself. Don't give up on yourself like that, because you're just going to struggle the rest of your life, and it's going to bring you up. Look how much heartache we had. We're talking about all the thing, but how much heartache did you sit with your hands in your face crying? How many times you were depressed, sitting in jail cells, and everybody left you. You told a story earlier about your girl.
Depressed.
Fucking around.
I was kissing the fucking cinder blocks. I woke up kissing
that
cinder
message
blocks.
has got to come across. Yeah,
I was kissing cinder blocks, like deep throating and everything, in the joint. Yeah, I woke up. You wake up mad. Like I thought that was someone there. I was kissing cinder block walls. That's not a joke. That's real.
But when I talk about the violence too, you got to remember. So when I'm talking about the violence, it's like I'm talking about somebody else. It was a different lifetime ago.
Matt's like, what the fuck is he saying?
Yeah,
you didn't kiss no cinder blocks.
I mean,
you didn't kiss cinder blocks.
Out of all the talent out there, this is what you ran with this guy.
You were kissing. Did you ever kiss a cinder block?
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
None of those dreams.
Hey, Matt,
come on.
Matt, everybody calls me and says either they love him or they call me and they tell me, hey, what are you guys doing?
Listen, I thought when we did our interview, when you left, I thought, worst fucking interview I've ever done. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I totally, when you left, I was like, holy shit, I never asked him about this, never asked him about that. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
And then that video just kept going and going and in the comment section, there was only 2 comments on him. I could listen to this dude forever. He's amazing. Or, bro, I just couldn't watch, bro. I can't stand that guy.
How could you stay in the room with this motherfucker?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how could you? Oh, it was just one or the other. But I was thinking that what you just said about this. So back to, So
we're gonna put the wall up. Let's put the wall up.
Listen, I'm always asked, like, if you could do it. Not always, but could you do it over again? Or do you regret? I always love do you regret anything? Do I regret anything? Do I regret getting out of fucking prison at losing 13 years?
Yeah. No, it was fun.
I loved it.
I loved it.
Getting out at 50 with nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody's giving up on you.
Oh, yeah.
And rightfully so. You're a scumbag.
Right.
Like, I'm doing scumbag fucking things.
Right.
Like when the first couple of years I was locked up, I hated everybody. Everybody fucking piece of shit. This guy, I gave that guy money. I did this.
Right.
I don't want to return my calls. Yeah. This guy, everybody. It was everybody else's fault.
Right.
And then eventually you get to that point where you start to realize, no, if you're lucky, because I know guys that did 20 years and still hate everybody.
Yeah.
And they went out and they're bitter and they're going to die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
The truth is, by the time after a few years, I started realizing, no, I put me here.
Yeah.
And people say that now, man, I can't believe you did all that time. Can't believe that they gave you that much time. No, they didn't give me that much. I gave me that much. I put me in jail.
Well, here's the problem, Matt, right? And I'm very honest too. And people ask me questions. I understand, really do understand why I shot and stabbed and batted a lot of guys. They deserved it. This is being honest.
Right.
They deserve it. And if I had to give a list, if you've seen a list, I can write 10 names right now.
Yeah, but these are other criminals. These are other guys that are.
Well,
that are
no,
committed.
it's not. It's not that. It's they are looking for when they test the waters and they're not sure. Like there's 10 guys right now. I can write a list that I, in some ways, wish I was the guy I used to be because I'd slaughtered them because I know they're full of shit. Current guys right now.
Oh, okay.
But here's the difference.
Am I on that list?
No, you're off the list. You were on the list the other day because you were snoring loud and I couldn't sleep.
I'm sorry.
So those 10 guys they really deserve to get what I used to do. And they know I'm not going to do it. So they got big mouths and they talk nonsense and they're not in the league with me when it comes to this. They all try to because of their egos and they're full of shit and whatever. And they talk and talk because it's the era you can type away and all that. But the difference is, and this is what I try to tell kids that are going through what I'm going through, or men that are going through what I'm going through, it ain't worth your own life to do that. Before I didn't realize that. I was willing to give up my life for that. Now I say to myself, as much as I want to do it, I'm not hurting myself. So that's always going to be my message to everybody. And I say it all the time, you might as well look in the mirror and shoot yourself then. Because this is very easy for me to do what I used to do. I know they're full of shit because when there was no cameras out there, they weren't doing anything. Now there's technology and cameras. They're still talking when they didn't do it back then. So this is at the end of the day, you got to say to yourself, what's my life worth? Now my life's worth something. Back then, I didn't think it was worth anything for whatever reason. And I went through therapy and now my high is to help other kids not do what I used to do. Say, I get what you're doing because, you know, when people say to me, how'd you change? I didn't change that much. I just don't react the same. I mean, I still have that same feeling to go after guys that are really fucking with me or guys that are screwing me or guys like, say, Duke or Timmy, I just brought up their names earlier, or Mike Mallon and these guys that robbed me and beat me. Every day I think about, you know, but I won't react anymore because I know that it's just not worth my life to react to these guys and that these guys somewhere down the line are pieces of shit and they'll get what they got.
And we got a show to do.
You know, and I believe that really, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to pay some way, I believe, with God, with karma, whatever. And, you know, and I just look at it and I go, you know what, move forward, do the right thing for kids and put them in the right direction and do the right thing for myself and family, enjoy my life.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't know that because you went through
some. You're so sweet.
Thanks.
You're so sweet. He actually is a sweetheart and a charmer too. I tell you, he really. So let me.
Hey, he's cutting into my 10 minutes.
Yeah. 10. It was fucking 30 minutes.
He's gone
30 minutes.
What are we doing?
So so cut. So cut.
Now he's running the machine.
Cut.
Can you move your microphone stand up? Just I think at some point, like 10 minutes ago.
Me?
Understand, John? It's in Matt's frame.
Because he touched it.
Oh no, yeah. He switched. You put it in my frame. Yeah.
Is that any better?
No, it's got to go this way. It's got to go this way.
Yeah, but then you're blocking me the whole fucking time.
It's got to go this way or something.
It's been all good.
Yeah, it's been good the entire time. Yeah, we moved this one up. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you can't touch the tech stuff.
Yeah,
Did you see what I put up with? The guy's crazy.
I see it's across my neck.
It's good.
It's across your neck.
This way more.
So.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
I mean, I'm just saying that's what's bothering you.
Yeah, I can't. I want to look pretty.
Oh my God, bro! You're got
That's
fucking
what the
probably
video
hundreds
stands
of
for.
hours. Yeah, hundreds of hours of you.
So here's what this is a setup. I don't know if you want to go there. That's why I want to stop. So stop. I don't know if this is a good setup. Did you want to ask? Does he want to be asked? I wanted you to see if you want to bring up the guns with John. If you want to bring that up or no.
Junior?
Yeah, they gave you the guns to you. Yeah. I want him to ask that, like not specifically. He don't know. So the setup is, what's one of the things that happened out there that most people don't know about between you and Junior? Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Because
Gotti Jr.?
Yeah, with Junior, because that's
The only thing is they'll attack you like crazy.
So what?
You bring them, they'll be writing on you. They're nonstop. They will drive you. I mean,
well, we're getting it on ours. This is for us.
Don't get me wrong.
This is for us.
Okay.
They're
All right.
balls. It's not like that. They'll just hound you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's. I think it's good theater for his channel.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Not
So
a lot
just
of-
Alright,
ask.
so-
So you're going to ask him, what's one of the things that you want people to know that happened between you and John that very, very
I
few
wouldn't even
people.
ask it like that. I would
That-
just say to him, I heard that there was at one time you were giving guns to can you tell us about that?
Okay.
To hit Gotti.
All right.
Are
To
you ready?
hit Gotti?
Yeah, ready?
Okay. Sorry.
You see what I'm saying?
All right. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't think he should ask to hit Gotti. That's
no, okay. Just I'll just say the guns. So at one point you made this difficult.
No, go ahead.
So at one point you hit or you were giving guns to John Gotti. I mean to John Gotti Jr.
Gave you some gun. Gave you some
No,
guns.
he
Jr.
didn't give me the guns, Junior. I got guns to hit him.
Oh, okay. Who gave?
So just say, listen. At one time there was a situation you were giving guns. What were they for?
Right.
Okay. All right. So at one point you were given guns. At what point? What was that for? What's going on with? It had something to do with Gotti Jr.
Yeah. What happened was in the mid '90s.
I want to get you in the mic. I want them to hear that because you're so far away from the fucking mic, motherfucker. He don't kill anybody no more.
So what happened was in the mid '90s, there was a lot of after guys were being hit back and forth over Paul Castellano in the mid '80s got hit, and then later on in the '90s when Senior goes to prison, Gotti Jr. takes over, and when he takes over, the family is the acting boss. Half of the family from the faction of the Castellanos aren't happy about Junior and leadership, and Gotti Senior calling the shot from prison. And you have guys like Danny Marino. You have guys like Joe Watts.
I met Danny Marino, just for the record.
Yeah.
I did. You know, white Mercedes Benz convertible.
Jimmy Brown, failure. You have these guys who are loyalists to Paul Castellano, and they don't like what happened. They don't respect Junior in the position, and Nicky Carrazzo and so forth from the Brooklyn guys that start having discussions about killing Gotti Jr. and killing his uncle, John Gotti Sr.'s brother, Pete, and the brother-in-law, Carmine, at the time. So they discuss it. Somebody comes to see me, Charles Koenig, and he says to me, would you hit these guys? And I said, tell me what's going on. He says, well, they want him out of the way. They want to run the family. They don't want him there. They don't want Senior running the family from prison. It's over for them. I said, all right. And he says,
Did you have a choice, you think, at that moment?
Yeah, I had a choice.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a choice. But I had my own problems with Gotti at the time. Not the father, but with the son and them. And they were talking too much, and I didn't like it. And you know, I went through names in the past of guys I hit around him. You know, one of them, Johnny Gabbett. The other one, Stevie Newell, that later on he just passed away. He became a friend of mine, believe it or not, again, and he was on my show. My own cousin, Nicky, I shot him up. Joe Kane that was around him, we battered him. Then later on, we stabbed him up. He was around Gotti, and then we robbed a couple bookmakers around him. We took one of his uncle's son-in-laws, and we beat him real bad on the side of Bell Park. We left him for dead. So we started attacking all their guys, and they never retributed back. And so I guess they came to me to step it up to the next thing and hit these guys. They gave me a machine gun. They gave me a 9mm. I took those guns and I put them in a tattoo shop in Ozone Park that everybody knew of. I was a friend of ours, and we grew up with him on Jamaica. He was a childhood friend. And we put the guns in there in Kubo's shop. Now, he knew the guns were there. Obviously, they're in his safe, but he didn't know who the hit was on for. And it was supposed to be for them. And during the negotiations, we're trying to set up where we're going to hit him. We were going to hit him in a restaurant that we're going to. And I was going to come in through the back kitchen. And I had 2 shooters that were going to come in from the front to make sure nobody could run out, and I was going to do the shooting. We have a driver. At this point, after we're talking about how we're going to set up, how we're going to do that, who's going to come, they call off the hit, and they ask for the guns back. Because when I was told, Senior Gotti...
That's never a good thing. Huh?
Well, they agreed to they agreed to stepping over, and they had a panel of guys who would run the family, and they agreed to let... certain guys like Nicky Carrazzo step in on that panel and collect the money and see it as really the face of the Gambino family. He's a legitimate gangster and tough guy, and he's been around for forever. When they asked for the guns back, I refused to give them back because I know the situation I'm in now. that both sides, and then I'll be the guy in the middle. So I wouldn't give the guns back. And I told my guys, nobody gives his guns back until I was going to prison. I had several cases at the time. And so they're panicked that I won't give the guns back. Unbeknownst to me at that time, they told me they actually got the guns from Gotti Jr. himself, not knowing that the shooting was going to be on him, that we were going to kill him. So they had no excuse. They kept asking for the guns back. Junior was asking, where's my guns? And I'm not giving them back. And that's why they're asking me, give them back. And I told Charles, nobody's getting those guns. I says, nobody's getting anything.
So Junior,
Junior gave them the guns to have himself whacked with.
Right. And it comes all out during the trials. So when people ask me, the betrayal of the mafia, and the funny thing is, these guys talk about killing me 100 times too. So, our plot actually went a little further. But when people talk about friendships in this life, there is none.
Now, you guys were technically best of friends, technically. You and Junior.
I mean, we were good friends. I mean,
you slept at his house.
Yeah, slept at his house. I was in his wedding, at his wedding. I was only a couple hundred people at the Helmsley Palace. He was the best man at mine, his signature. I was in his sister's wedding party. So, yeah, we were close. When people say we're on, I mean, I don't know how many more videos and photos and family gatherings we need. And, so.
Go kill your best man.
But
I'm not laughing. It's not funny, but that's funny.
Well, in that life, there is no best friends. There is no anybody who believes anything. Just look at it. Don't take my word for it. Look at history of everybody hitting each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's hitting each other all over the place. Best friends, bosses, underbosses. This is the life. It's nothing but treachery. There is no friendship.
And who can hurt you the most?
It's about who can hurt you the most, and who's got the most money. How do you get it? How do you take the power? How do you take the platform? And that's what that life's about. Anybody tells you anything different, they're so full of shit. And the people that comment that don't know, they're so naive to understand the level that we play at. Even till today, when I'm out of that life, they're still bent on coming after me because they have to retract from the truth. They somehow.
Yeah.
And, there's so much more in that life that I could sit here for a year straight and talk about this stuff and the things we're on. But the thing that happens is guys come out of the woodwork, like Lee did, that was in prison with me in McKean.
Right.
So there's a million guys that grew up with us that know the factual stuff of what went on in this life. And, when Gotti's lawyer, the father's lawyer, Richie Raybach, was my attorney up to about 2000. So, or anyway, till I went to prison in the 90s, the middle, late 90s. So, these are the ties we all have to each other because of we want to keep a thumb on each other to know what everybody's doing. So they're not cooperating or whatever else is going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So basically there's like a hit on you, right? Like there's guys out there that want to have you murdered. Am I wrong about that?
Right now?
In general? Listen,
when we live that life, I've been stabbed up, I've been shot, I've been battered, I've been hit by cars, I've been everything. Guys try to kill me, I don't know how many times, 10 times, 12 times. There were setups. Guys that used to be my enemies, very serious guys. I mentioned them a lot on
we circled the block a few times before we came. We circled the block.
They tried to hit me.
They missed. Before we came
they had different schemes to try to hit me, and we discuss it now. We laugh about it because we're out of that life. So that's just part of it. We were raised like this. Every day is part of that. It's nothing special that they're trying to hit you today, as crazy as it sounds. That's like saying to somebody that goes and serves a tour in Iraq or Afghanistan, do you think about it? I mean, it's part of their everyday life. They put the uniform on, it's part of it. Police officer puts his uniform on, it's part of it. That's why I'm always talking about pro-America, pro-police, pro-USA, because they're risking themselves every day. They're out there in a good way. We risk ourselves every day, whether or not, because when you're doing what I do and you hurt as many people and shoot people and kill people, you're always going to be a target, right? And that's just the way it is. But this ain't the 80s and 90s when there's consequences to your actions. Before, guys would be dropped constantly. Now you don't see guys getting dropped. I mean, guys could get killed still, but it's not nowhere near as dangerous.
Unless you're in Chicago right now. New York is turning back into the old West again with the
gangsters. You're talking about the street kids.
Street kids pushing people into subways, robbing them, shooting them up. I mean, it's getting stupid out there again.
But it's a different world.
It's a different world. Yeah.
I talk about that. The street kids from my neighborhood, the gangsters are tough kids. And I just hope I reach some of them so they don't follow that street shit.
Because it's getting them nowhere.
If you're interested in checking out more content from John and Mike, you can go to the Elite Show on YouTube with Mike Dowd. Fortunately. Check it out. And I appreciate you guys watching the video, and see you.